Welcome back to another exciting and soon-to-be award-winning episode of Student of the Gun Radio. I am your host, Professor Paul Markle, and over there on the other side of the glass, working the board, is the man behind the curtain. That's right, that is Jared. Jared, are you working your board?
I am working my board, and I appreciate the feedback that I got from you guys last week.
We're actually working the board even more this week, are we not? I see additional wires coming out of the board.
Yeah, we've got more inputs and outputs, you know. There's actually only one output, but there's multiple inputs.
Multiple. Oh, but this is the family-friendly hour, so I am not going to comment on that. Instead, I'm going to move directly along to welcoming or thanking our sponsors. How about that for a good thing?
Let's do that.
Let's do that so I don't say something inappropriate. All right, thank you to our good buddies at Brownells, brownells.com. Check them out. Colt.com, the makers of the LE901 rifle. You want one, you know it. Order one. You won't regret it. And, you know what we're going to do this week, guys? We're going to take the LE901. And when I first got it, well, maybe not when I first got it. I'd had it a few months. We took it up to Texas. I went to my buddy Bill's ranch, and we had to cull some does because there's way too many whitetail does on his ranch. And we took I shot a couple of whitetail does. Yummy. Brought the venison home to eat with the LE901 in 308 configuration. Well, your intrepid host, myself, and Jared, we're going to be packing up the truck and heading back to Texas, and we're going to take the LE901 with us in both the 308 and 223 configuration, and we're going to shoot some piggies. We're going to shoot some hogs this week. So when we come back to the microphone next week, we're going to have lots of really cool hog hunting and Texas stories for you guys. So, and the Colt's going to go along with us. And you know what else is going to go along with us, Jared? What? He's like, I don't even know where Dad's going on this one. SWAT Fuel.
Oh, definitely.
Duh. Obviously, we're going to take our 40 cal multivitamins and all that good jazz. And don't forget about SWATfuel.com. If you are somebody who's either an occupational athlete or an occasional athlete, or somebody who's thinking, you know what, I look down at my stomach and it's a little bit more pudgy and a little softer than I would like it to be. Maybe you're going to get back into the gym. Maybe you're going to get back into the dojo. Maybe you're going to get back into the house of pain. I don't know. I don't know what your personal life is like there. But if you're going to be active, if you're going to be physically active, especially if you're not a young buck anymore, you might want to consider something from SWAT Fuel. They're 40 cal multivitamins. They're 9mm plus P workout supplements. And when you go there, this is the important part. So listen up. When you go to SWATfuel.com and then you place your order, you get to the order page and there's going to be a little area, a little box for a promo code. And you want to put SOTG2014 in that box and make sure that you apply the promo code. When you do that, you're going to get 20% off of your total order. So how cool is that? It is very cool. And don't forget about the SWAT Fuel Social Media Challenge. If you are using SWAT Fuel, if you've started a new workout regime with, like I said, you're jumping up and down and running in circles, or you're lifting weights, or you're doing whatever you're doing, and you want to share that with the world, put a picture on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, and hashtag it. And for you old guys, if you don't know what a hashtag is, just drive on and don't worry about it. But hashtag SWAT Fuel, SWATFUEL. How simple is that? Jared, are you with me over there on the other side of the board? Jared is he's struggling through. I think he's got a cold or something. He's not feeling good, so I'm going to carry most of the show today. However, I am going to make him tell you about the Blackhawk Legacy Light giveaway and who is eligible for that.
The Blackhawk Legacy Light giveaway. If you guys follow us on Facebook, I posted something yesterday kind of explaining what was going on. And in the month of October, that's this whole month, one winner per week. That's what we're going to choose. We take the subscribers from the third hour.
You mean the bonus hour?
Whatever, bonus hour. I'm sick. See, I have an excuse. This week it'll be a third hour. But anyway, so the subscribers from the bonus hour, and we're going to pick one subscriber each week, and we're going to send them a Blackhawk Legacy flashlight. But the thing is, Or in addition to. You can't say but, you're supposed to say in addition to.
In addition to.
In addition to being a subscriber, you also have to answer the email that I send you within 24 hours saying, yes, this is my email, and here's my address, and yes, you can announce my name on the radio.
Okay, so there you go. But that should be really easy for the bonus hour subscribers because they pay close attention to what's going on, and that's how they get the bonus hour is in their email. But, yeah, you guys are going to make sure that you look out for that. Look for that. And we told you guys when we started this bonus hour dealio a couple of months ago, we told you that we were going to, in addition to the extra Student of the Gun radio material, to the little farther off the chain adult version of the radio show. This is for big boys. This is the big boy hour or the big girl hour. In addition to that, we were going to give you other stuff. And so far we've given away the ebook to everybody who was a subscriber, everybody who was signed up. We give away the ebook, the extra bonus audio material,
we give
the body armor, the body armor deal, all that stuff. But anyway, we're going to give you something physical, not notional, not electronic. You're going to get an actual Blackhawk Legacy light. And if you go to blackhawk.com and check those out, and it's like a $99.95 retail.
Here's the deal.
It's like a $100 value.
Yeah, it's a $100 value. So if you break that down, that's almost a full year of subscribership for nothing.
Wow, that is. When you put it that way, Jared, man, that's pretty cool. All right, well, moving right along, and this is something we told you we were going to do last week, and we're starting it. Shooting industry news, yes. In shooting industry news this week, Aimpoint has released their Micro T2. You heard me right, the Micro T2 optic. And I'm going to go ahead and open up the press release right here. I got the press release in my hot little inbox. And now, June, this was a little bit late, but you want to hear something funny, Jared? Yeah, he does. He's smiling at me. He's nodding from the other side. The press release here is dated June 16th, 2014, but they didn't actually release it to the media until 2 days ago.
Yeah. They forgot.
Yeah, they put it all together, and someone's like, stop! Don't release that yet. But what's a T2 all about? Well, I'm going to tell you. Aimpoint, the originator, the world leader and everything, blah, 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 has announced the Micro T2 sight from the company's professional product line. And you're like, okay, well, that's all cool and everything, but what is the T2 all about? Well, the T2, it uses operate for up to, check this out, 5 years of constant on use of the middle setting with just one CR2032 battery, and that's the ones that are about the size of a nickel. Those the watch batteries that are about the size of a nickel. The same ones you get if you buy yourself if you buy yourself a Crimson Trace grip or what have you. So it's those batteries, and you can get them anywhere. You can get them at Walmart, CVS Pharmacy, what have you. But dudes, you turn that thing on, and that's what a lot of people with the Aimpoints is they're afraid, Jared, to leave them on or to turn them on or whatever. Like, oh, the battery's going to die. It's like, here's the deal, dude. Turn that thing on, leave it on the medium setting or the middle setting, like around 5 or 6, and change the battery once every 4 years, and you'll be good to go. But they decided, well, forget that. Let's change it. Let's do it 5 years. Can you afford one battery every 5 years? I think you can. Essentially, it looks a lot like the T1 micro or Micro T1 if you're familiar with that, but it's slightly different. We put a picture of it up on Facebook as soon as we got one. But you guys want to check that out. And are they free? Are they cheap? Is this a Chinese ripoff that's going to cost you $59? No. But if you are serious about your craft, if you're serious about having a quality optic, and if you're serious about actually having something that's going to work all the time, then you might want to consider that. We thought you guys would appreciate that little bit of industry insider news, and that just, like I said, broke this week. I think I got the press release 2 days ago as 2 or 3 days ago as we're recording this. So check that out. Very cool stuff. And I use, there's 3 big ones, big names in optics, in combat optics, or optics that are actually used by the United States military. You've got EOTech with their holographic weapon sight. We've talked about those, and we've used them a lot. We have a great deal of faith in EOTechs. You've got aim points, and then you have Trijicons. And all of those three are actually in use by the United States military right now. And let me tell you what, think what you want about the military, but the fact is they don't buy gear until they've run it through the mill, thrown it out of helicopters, run it over with Humvees, drug it through the mud, and they're like, yeah, okay, we'll keep this. So if it's being used by the military, you can be pretty well assured that it's tough, especially when it comes to optics, because they really abuse the ever-loving crap out of that stuff. But we're not going to talk about optics anymore. We're going to jump right into the main theme of this episode. And if you read the show notes before you clicked on it, it's Mission Impossible Australia version. All right. Woo! Doesn't that get you pumped up? You're pumped, aren't you? I'm pumped. I'm pumped to tell you this story. And now, what do you mean Mission Impossible? How can it be Mission Impossible Australia? Now, if you listen to the people on the other side of the aisle, if you listen to the Shannon sandwich makers and the Joe Bidens and the all those douche nozzles, if you listen to them, what they'll tell you is we need, that is the United States of America, we need to be more civilized. We need to be more reasonable. We need to adopt more reasonable gun control laws for the children, for the safety of everyone. And one of the countries that these hippie liberal puke faces are constantly pointing to is Australia. And they point to Australia and how they did the sweeping gun bans. We talked about it last week, that puke face up in New Jersey, or the puke faces. Remember that, Jared? They wouldn't even sign their own name to that. It was the editorial department that said we need to do mandatory gun buybacks as they have in Australia, because that will make everyone safer. Because we know that if you strip the ability to defend themselves from citizens, then the criminals will no longer exist, or because they know that their victims are unarmed, they'll just be nice to them, apparently. Well, it didn't work out too well, and this story comes to us from, let me see, it's the news in Australia, and it's abcnews.net.au, and for those of you that went to public school, .au means Australia. So what's the title of the story here? It says, shots fired, door smashed down in violent Clarkson home invasion, say terrified residents. Jared, hang on a second. Now, this comes to us from Australia. It's an Australian news report. Home invasion in the northern Perth suburb of Clarkson. But I thought, based upon every ninny, every liberal puke face in America, that if we make guns illegal and put very, very strict gun control laws on the books, then this won't happen, because bad people won't be able to get guns. And if they do, well, they'll have a single-shot .22, and they won't be able to reload. But according to the first article here, it says a gang of masked men smashed down the front door of a house and apparently fired a shot inside during an attempted home invasion in the northern Perth suburb of Clarkson. Two men who live at the property in Peterson Close said they feared for their lives during the terrifying ordeal Sunday night. Graham Reagan, A-E-M, Graham, said a man knocked on the door just before 10, asking for water. Two others jumped out from behind bushes, forced their way into the house, yada, yada, yada. Guy came around the front door. Now, they're wearing balaclavas, and they were armed. And here's what the homeowner was armed with. He was armed with a golf club. That's right. And they've got a picture of the homeowner with a big old smashed, well, he's got a big wound on the side of his head there from the attackers. And then they have another one that says, he said he was going to shoot me, and he fired a bullet which got lodged in the eaves. I took a swing at him with my golf club, and they took off. So, well, lucky for them, that the burglars more determined. But, Jared, I thought if we listened to Feinstein and all the other puke faces, that this wasn't going to happen. Oh, but it did happen. What did we report on previously? That the Australian police just have a fright because they're finding illegally manufactured guns, pen guns, and keychain guns. Don't forget that, guys. That's what you need to be really, really scared of is pen guns and keychain guns. And then on the other side, you've got submachine guns that are manufactured in auto shops or bicycle shops or machine shops out in the hinterlands there, and they're not registered. They're not registered. Oh my goodness! And they're having a fright. So what we got is a whole bunch of disarmed people. And Jared, we got, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I know that you got an email from one of our Australian listeners, and they were telling you about the Johnny Jihads that are ramping it up down there, down under. And I tell you, I don't know what they're going to do because the government has effectively disarmed the citizenry because the citizenry cannot be trusted with arms. Only criminals in the government can be trusted with arms. And now you've got the whatever branch of Johnny Jihad down there threatening people in Australia. You're like, what? I thought the Hajj only hated America because we're rich and mean and evil and we're always trying to impose our will on the world. But it turns out that they don't like the Australians either, and they don't like the British, and pretty much everybody who's not a Hajj they don't like. So what are the people down in Australia going to do? I don't know. Maybe they're going to give everyone a 9-iron or something like that. You finding that story, Jared? He's looking it up.
Yeah, he kind of gave me a timeline of events here, and I'm just going to go ahead and read them. September 20th is when I got this email, which was about 2 weeks ago. He says, rundown. On Thursday, I'm not sure exactly which date that was, but this was sent on September 20th, so whatever Thursday was before that. In Australia's largest police operation, 800 police raided houses in 12 suburbs. There was an active plan to pick a random person in Sydney's central business district, cover them in the ISIS flag, and behead them. The resulting video was to promote their cause. Muslim groups responded by holding a protest held at a war memorial. A local money exchange company has been shut down, run by the sister of an ISIS leader. They have sent $9 million to Turkey with no paperwork on who sent or received it.
Oh. Funneling money to the terrorists through Turkey, huh?
Yeah.
That would never happen.
Some media outlets are sympathetic with statements like minority groups are being treated badly by non-Muslims.
Oh, you got to feel bad for them.
Muslim prayer halls are closing as leaders complain that their activities, funding, and speeches are being scrutinized.
Oh, you mean they're catching on to them? If in case you people out there listening, you guys know because you're students of the gun, but every once in a while we get somebody who's listening to us. They're like, "What's this student of the gun all about?" And I don't know what's going on here. If you don't realize, or back in the 70s and 80s, there was a group in the United States called NORAID. You're like, NORAID? Yeah. And they were ostensibly a charitable organization that raised money to help the orphans and the poor and the impoverished in Northern Ireland. And what they really were is they were a front for the IRA, and they funneled money from the United States of America via this charity directly to the Irish Republican Army so they could buy arms and ammunition and all the things that you need to have an army or a terrorist organization. And in the United States today, we have a very similar organization. It's spelled C-A-I-R, and it's pronounced CARE. Oh, isn't that sweet? They care. No, they're puke faces, they're Hajj, and this is a front company. They are a front for Hamas. Now, in case you haven't been paying attention, the people of Hamas, the vermin of Hamas, are not nice people. But what we've got is we have a front company in the United States of America that calls themselves the Council on American Islamic Relations. Puke. and they funnel money directly to Hamas. They are the face. They are the acceptable face of jihad in America. And what's worse, it's not. Now, I'm assuming that you guys listening aren't going to give money to these puke faces, but you have companies that are politically correct idiots like Best Buy. And Best Buy has donated money publicly and then defended it to CARE, to the Council on Islamic Relations, American Islamic Relations. So essentially what you've got is you've got the idiots at Best Buy funneling money into CARE, and then they send it directly to Hamas so they can buy rockets and ammunition and build bombs and kill Israeli children. So that is one of the reasons that we no longer, and what's worse is when it was pointed out to them, when they were called on it, they did some kind of mealy-mouthed half answer. Oh, we accept all religions and faiths and blah, 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 blah. Shut up. Shut up. And Student of the Gun no longer, and hasn't for a long time since we found this out, and since they came out with this basically a non-answer at Best Buy, this cover my butt, we're stupid. We don't spend any money with them. And we suggest that you don't either, but, do what you want. It's your world. Who wants a Go Team moment? I know I want a Go Team moment. Jared, do you want a Go Team moment? And we've got an awesome Go Team theme.
I do like Go Team moments.
That's why I say him in my shirt.
Yeah, we got a nice shot coming out of Houston, Texas. And I tell you what, there's a lot of nice shots. There's a lot of shots that need to be taken in Houston, Texas, because, somebody from sent me an email this week, and they were talking about what's going on in Houston. Houston, the home of Sheila Jackson Lee. If that's not enough to make you hang your head in shame, I don't know what is. And Houston, unfortunately, Houston, Texas has got a lot of good people in it. We know people in Houston. We know a lot of good people in Houston. But Houston is also just filled with liberal excrement. And my buddy he sent me an email. He said, oh, I don't remember even the exact topic, but somehow we got on Houston. And I said, Houston essentially is the Texas toilet, and it's filled with liberal excrement, and they need to hit the flush handle and get some of it out of there. Well, an elderly homeowner in Houston decided that he was going to get rid of some of the excrement. And this comes to us from click2.houston.com. Elderly homeowner opens fire on attempted robbers in southwest Houston. An elderly homeowner opened fire on a group of suspects attempting to rob his southwest Houston home, according to Houston police. The man and his wife were at home on the 4400 block of Wigton around 8 a.m. Tuesday when they heard a knock at the door. How many times have we guys told you this? Knock, knock, knock. See if anybody's home. If nobody comes to the door, we boot it. If somebody does come to the door, we say, oh, hey, can I use your phone? Can I whatever? And if you're stupid enough to open the door, they shove it in, they shove the door in, and they rob you, beat you, and rape your wife, and so forth. Police said 3 men and 1 woman posing as delivery people talked their way inside. Folks, older people. Hey, Jared, I got a question for you. Have you ever received a delivery or a package at your home?
Yeah.
Has that package ever been delivered by 3 men and a woman?
Nope, usually it's one person.
It's one. All right, how many times has the brown Santa or the FedEx guy or even, what's the yellow and red one? DHL. How many times have they sent 3 or 4 people to deliver you a package?
How many times?
That would be never.
How many times have you had 4 people deliver a package that you weren't expecting?
Never. Oh, well, we're not expecting a package, but these 3 men and the woman say that they have a package to deliver to me. Don't open the door for these people. Oh, it was the woman. It was the wife. So they forced their way into the home, pushed the wife to the ground. She called out for her husband. The husband, in his 70s, grabbed a firearm and began shooting, according to police. In all the chaos, the elderly man passed out. When he came to, the gun was gone, and so were the suspects. Holy crap. I think it's horrible that people think it's okay that they can come in and take advantage of everyone, said a neighbor. Duh. Said the poor man could have died of a heart attack. Yeah, that's why you, as the good, law-abiding people of America, need to get sick of this. But let me guess, the 3 men and 1 woman, this was their first time ever. That was their first time ever committing a crime. Their first one. They'd never been arrested. They'd never been in jail. They probably weren't on probation. What do you think, Jared? You think this is their first time, or do you think they're probably recidivist criminals who've been doing it their whole lives? Probably on probation. Probably have really lengthy records. But we just can't put people like that in jail. That's not right. Jail doesn't do any good. What we need to do is we need to let them out amongst the people and observe them and see and watch how they interact with the citizens and see whether they decide to cut their heads off or rob them or what have you. So we hope this old man and his wife here, we hope that they're okay. This is the scary stuff, but folks, and Jared, this kind of dovetails right in with another subject. We got another a story that was sent to us, a similar story where people were at home and the bad guys forced their way into the house, and a guy had to run to his gun safe and unlock his gun safe and get a gun out after the burglars had already attacked him. Folks, that's why we carry guns. That's why we wear guns. That's why we bear arms. We don't just keep arms, we bear them. And this is 8 o'clock in the morning. How many of your friends, how many of your reasonable neighbors think that, oh, you don't need a gun, and you certainly don't need a gun in your own house. Why would you carry a gun in your own house? It's 8 o'clock in the morning. Nothing bad will ever happen then. I mean, I don't go to bad neighborhoods, and I don't hang out in bars, and I don't go to places I shouldn't be, so nothing bad will happen to me. Unless I happen to be home at 8 o'clock in the morning sipping my coffee and, 3 to 4 douche nozzles break through the front door. What are you going to do? Hey, hang on, my gun is locked upstairs in a safe. Can I go get it? No, I can't? Well, would you be nice and let me go get my gun? Or you be sitting there having your coffee and you have your gun on because you're wearing your pants. All right, I'll give you a bone. Jared, you want me to throw him a bone?
Yeah, throw him a bone.
All right, my buddy Walt Roush, he carried a gun all the time habitually, but he also realized that his wife didn't carry a gun because she was a wife, and wives won't do that. So what Walt did is he got inexpensive guns. And this is what Walt told me. Way back in the days of the Smith & Wesson Sigma, you guys, if you're gun people, you're like, Paul's going to talk about the Sigma. I know what that is. Back in the days of the Smith & Wesson Sigma, and they changed the name from Sigma to just like SW9 and SW40, but basically it's the same gun. This was Smith & Wesson's first attempt to compete with Glock. It was their first striker-fired gun, and Glock sued them, and they lost it, and it was a big, hullabaloo. But the Sigma, which became the S&W9, SW40, the guns actually worked. They were kind of ugly. They weren't a gun that you're going to break out at the barbecue and show your friends, say, "Ooh, look how cool this gun is." But they worked. And my buddy Walt said, he goes, "Let me tell you what the Sigma is good for, the SW9." He said, "They're cheap. You can get them for around $300 to $400. He goes, "They're stash guns." He said, "These are the guns that I put around the house, on top of the bookshelf where only we know it is, in the cabinet in the kitchen, over the microwave, so that my wife can just open the cabinet and grab the gun, tucked up underneath the coffee table or what have you in the den." These were stash guns. Now, if you have little kids in your house, you can't do stash guns. Sorry. And if you're going to have little grandkids visiting and stuff like that. But look through your house. Do you have a kitchen cabinet, or do you have like a china hutch or something like that is, 5.5, 6 feet high? And could you put a stash gun up on top of it? Is a 5-year-old going to climb up on top of a chair and get a ladder and go on top of the thing? I don't know. I don't think so. But anyway, that's what Walt said. He goes, the other option for actually wearing a gun on yourself when you're home is stash guns. And but like I said, if you've got curious little kids in your house, stash guns are a no-go. The other, and I'm gonna give you one other piece of advice, and Jared, we're going to do this as a video so it can be like demonstrated. He doesn't know this yet, but we're going to. I'm looking right now. I'm looking at my Crossbreed holster. I'm looking at it. And Crossbreed makes lots of things to store your guns in besides holsters. They have the OHAI, the OHI, which is essentially a molded gun pocket with a Velcro backing. You can stick it on anything Velcro. And they have the bedside backup. Then they have the, what is the thing you put on your bike, Jared?
The RAM mount.
The RAM mount. Yeah, the RAM mount, which allows you to affix a gun or a mount to pretty much everything in the world. So if you don't have one of those, here's what you do. You wear the gun on yourself. If you're a mom or a dad, and you're like, I get kids in the house and I can't, risk them picking up a gun or finding a gun. Okay, great. Attach it to your body. Put the gun on your body, attach it to your body. That way you can control it, you know where it is all the time, and you have immediate control over the gun. And then when you go to your bedroom at night, you go to bed at night, you take the gun off, you slip it out of your holster, and you put it in the bedside backup, and you sleep, and when you get up in the morning, you pull it out of the bedside backup, you put it on, so you always know where the gun is. I mean, I've got a G19, and I know where that gun, I always know where that gun is, because it's always one of two places. It's either attached to my body in a holster, or it's in the bedside backup. That's it. I never have to play where's the gun. If it's not attached to me, it's on the bed. If it's not on the bed, it's attached to me. There you go. That's the way to control your guns and to have a gun readily available at home, and you're welcome. We don't have this next story. I'm going to take a sip of coffee here.
This next story we got coming from South Carolina, actually. And what does it say? The title says, SLED, 350 concealed weapons permits being revoked.
Yeah, SLED, which is the State Law Enforcement Division, or SLED. SLED sounds like some kind of a, I don't know, like
snow.
Yeah, I don't know. But the state, this is from the Dateline, Columbia, South Carolina, via WLTX.com, your local on the 8s. No, local 19, on your side. Says that the SLED says over 350 concealed carry weapons permits are going to be revoked after they say an instructor lied about giving people training. And here is our douche nozzle of the week. And Andrew A. Gajadar, G-A-J-A-D-A-H-R, Gajadar, 30, is being charged with 29, not 9, but 29 counts of perjury. An arrest warrant states that Gajadar, who was a licensed instructor, sold concealed weapons permits without providing any training required by law. Agents say Gajadar then just signed the certificates, handed them off. People went in, got their permits, and so forth. So 350 concealed weapons permits are going to be revoked in the state of South Carolina. And, that, as somebody who's an instructor, as somebody who's a trainer, obviously I find this annoying. But you see this kind of nonsense going on when you have people that become instructors just to either and you see that every time a state institutes some type of concealed carry permit system or what have you, people flock to become instructors so that they can, ingratiate them so they make some money. But not only that, but it becomes kind of like this ego boost, and that there's nothing wrong with that. And however, what I find is you have all these part-time once in a while. I got my NRA pistol certification, and I do 3 classes a year. Okay, well, fantastic. What are you getting out of that? Would you hire a plumber that plumbs, that works on pipes, occasionally? I did a couple last year. I did a couple of jobs last year, or an electrician that every once in a while works on wiring. Or would you want to hire one that does it every day? I don't know. But yeah, Mr. Gajadar, you are the student of the gun, douche nozzle of the week, and shame on you, and we're hoping that they prosecute you to the fullest extent of the law, because that's just laziness, and that is crap, and we're not going to stand for it here. All right. Oh, here we go. I've got my special blue notice. Our third hour or bonus hour, I need to change the show notes so it doesn't say third so I don't get in trouble, so Jared doesn't yell at me from the other side of the glass. The bonus hour special questions, and it's Ask Paul and Jared a personal question. If you guys have a personal question that you would like to ask us, anything goes, because it is the bonus hour, and it is big boy time, big girl time. So how do you do that? Go to forums.studentofthegun.com, and there's a forum thread called Get to Know Paul and Jared on a Personal Level. Drop your question in there, and we're going to be answering those questions each and every week during the bonus hour of Student of the Gun Radio. How are we doing on time over there, Jack?
We're coming up on about 36 minutes now.
36 minutes. So that gives me the opportunity to talk about something else. Now, coming up on the bonus hour this week, we're going to be talking about. Did you forget? We just had an anniversary, and it's not a nice anniversary. It was actually a very heinous thing. The little incident that happened in Kenya at the Kenyan Mall in Africa, and apparently. We've forgotten all about that. Apparently the big media has forgotten all about it. We're not going to talk about that anymore. We're going to actually address a sad incident, and, well, let's talk about it right now, Jared. We'll talk about it right now, and then we can say other stuff about it later. But Pennsylvania trooper has died, and the original story said he was killed during training at a training range. And we're like, okay. And so initially when you hear that, you think all the troopers are out on the range, and they're qualifying, or they're doing drills, or they're doing something, they're shooting, and something happened, a negligent discharge or something, and this guy died. Well, I just got yesterday an email from a friend of mine. The follow-up story to that is he didn't die on the training range. He was shot in the classroom. And it said the instructor, I want to get the exact story here so I can get the verbiage right. And I shared the story with you guys on our social media. And this is a good time to point out, if you're not following us on social media, you're like, oh, I don't do that. Okay, I got it. A lot of you don't. A lot of you guys hate Facebook, and you hate Twitter, and that's cool. You can hate them all you want. But I'm going to tell you this. If you are listening to the sound of my voice right now, and you do have a Twitter account, and you do have a Facebook account, and you are not following Student of the Gun, you're wrong, so you need to fix yourself. It's really that easy. But this story right here, it comes to us from ABC 6, Plymouth Township, Pennsylvania. Funeral arrangements have been announced for David Kedra, Pennsylvania State Trooper, who was killed during a training exercise. And then it goes down. You got to go down to like paragraph 5 or 6 or so forth, and you get back down to there. And it says, sources say he was in a classroom for a demonstration of how to break down and clean his service weapon. They say an experienced state police firearms instructor was handling a gun that somehow misfired. The bullet hit the trooper in the chest. He was rushed to Temple University, where he died. Folks, this is sad, and it is totally preventable. This is a situation where we spend a lot of the more time you spend around firearms, the whole familiarity breeds contempt. It's absolutely true. The more time you spend around guns, the more lax you become. And that's why we have to hold ourselves to a higher standard. We can't, there are people that are afraid of sharp things and noisy things and loud things, and they just stay away from them. You're gun-phobic people. They won't even touch one because it's so scary. Okay, great. We don't have to worry about them because they're not going to touch it. But we, as gun people, if you're a gun person, you have to, and it's not just you, all the people around you need to be locked on too. And they need to call you out, and you need to be intellectually honest with yourself and say, hey, if I'm doing something wrong, if I do an oops, if I violate one of the 4 universal safety rules, I want you to call me on it. I want you to call me out. And what happened here? Well, what are the universal safety rules, right? Treat every gun as if it's always loaded all the time until verified otherwise. All right? Bingo. Never point the muzzle to anything you're not willing to destroy. finger off the trigger until you're ready. Sights are on target and you're ready to shoot. Know your target, what's beyond it, and so forth. So let's just say, and I know people hate the G-lock because in order to disassemble the G-lock, you have to relieve the pressure, the spring tension on the striker by pressing the trigger. But you're not supposed to do that until you clear the gun. How do we do that? We remove the ammunition source, which is the magazine, first. Then we lock the slide to the rear second. Then we physically and visually inspect the chamber third. Then we release the slide. Then we point the gun in a safe direction, a direction which would absorb a bullet if the gun were to go off. Then we press the trigger. Then we take the slide off and do what we need to do. And I don't know if this is a G-lock in this case, but the fact is this instructor had the gun in his hand. And this is, when they write these stories, they're always like, oh, it was an accident, it was a misfire. I was like, a misfire? We have to be honest with ourselves. It does not help us to make excuses or use these half, phrases or these misleading phrases. If there's a negligent discharge, we all need to say, hey, this happened. What can we do in the future to make sure it doesn't happen again? And saying, oops, stuff happens, it was an accident, there's nothing that could have been done, that doesn't help. We have to examine it and say, all right, how can we make sure that this does not happen in the future? And the problem, why do we keep having these, is because when stuff like that happens, everybody feels bad, which you should. I mean, you feel bad, but then we make excuses or we use words like misfired. If you put your finger on the trigger of a gun and press deliberately to the rear and it goes boom, that's not a misfire. The gun wants to fire. That's its job. That's what it's designed to do. A misfire is when you're not pressing the trigger. Let's say if you have a broken sear, broken firing pin, broken mechanism, and you chamber around and the gun goes kapow. All right, that is something you couldn't have stopped. But if you're not pointing it at a person, hopefully no one will get hurt. So what we know for a fact is that 2 of the universal safety rules had to have been violated for this guy to die, for this trooper to die. The gun was pointed, the muzzle was pointed somewhere where if the gun would have gone bang, someone would have been hurt, and that happened. And then we didn't treat, how do we treat all guns? Treat all guns as they're always loaded all the time. Well, we treated a gun like it was empty, even though it wasn't, and we pointed it somewhere where if it went bang, someone was going to get hurt. And you've got to, every single person who is a shooter, who owns a gun, has got to have those 4 universal safety rules, inside, backwards, upside down. That's the only way that we can prevent tragedies like this. And it doesn't help to say misfire or accidental shooting or whatever. If you put your finger on, it's like the guy shooting the shotgun in the clubhouse. They're like, it was an accidental shooting. No, he put his finger on the trigger, pointed the gun, and fired. That's not an accident. That's me deliberately snapping the trigger because that's what I do habitually. So, folks, it's a shame. It's tragic. It shouldn't have happened, but the only way we're going to stop it from happening again is to nut up and say, what can we do to make sure this doesn't happen anymore? And that brings us right up to the end of this particular episode of Student of the Gun Radio. Thank you once again for joining us. Don't forget about Student of the Gun TV. That's every Monday night, Dish Network, Channel 266, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Or you can watch Hunt Channel, or you can watch the Hunt Channel, or you can watch TV Gone Wild on Roku, Apple TV, Chromecast, etc. Go to studentofthegun.com every week. You can see videos, you can read the articles, all that jazz. And, Jared, tell them what we just did. We just put through the mobile app what?
Oh, yeah, we just scheduled the upgrade for the mobile app, so that'll be upgraded shortly. And for all you iPhone users, that will fix the audio shutting off when you lock the screen, and I think the iPad was the one that had the orientation issue, where you'll be able to turn it sideways and watch videos now.
Yeah, so there you go.
That's 2 of the many updates that there will be.
Yeah, we went ahead and shelled out some ducats so we could do the upgrade so that it would fix all those little problems. And in addition to that, in addition to the just fixing the weird iDevice problems, It seems to me that the iDevices are a little more finicky there. I never had an issue with my Android phone.
Yeah, I didn't either.
All you hoity-toity iPhone people always have to have something special for yourself there. But we did that. And in addition to, we're going to be adding some range drills for you guys. We're going to be adding a tab on the mobile app so you can take it to the range with you, put your headphones on, take your phone and open it up, and you can follow along and do some skill maintenance drills at the range with your phone.
Would you guys rather have audio, video, or written material for that? We've got the outlines for it, but we could put it in any of those forms. Which one would be easier for you to take to the range? We assume that written PDF material would be the best.
See, that's what Dad over here. Dad's saying that most people on the range have they're double plugged. They got headphones on. Everybody else around them is pop, 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 and it would be easier just to read the instructions for a skill maintenance drill than it would be to listen to it or watch it. So, but hey, you've got an open line to us, info@studentofthegun.com, and let us know what you think. All right, folks, Cat in the Hat and that be that. Make sure you join us for part 2 of this week's episode. Gun ownership is not a privilege, or is a privilege, not a right. Remember, you're a student for life.